good afternoon, everybody. Now, today we are going to talk about Wyson technology and the details about the Smart City Challenge. And we welcome you all to the webinar. Hope you had a good lunch. And in this webinar, we are going to discuss what is Wyson technology and what are the details, what are the types available, what are the standards followed, and how it is linked with the Smart City Challenge. Please pay attention and try to understand whatever you can grasp in this session. And don't worry, we'll be hosting this whole webinar in the web page also. So I just want to give a brief on what we are going to do. And this whole thing happened because of the IIIT. We are doing it from IIIT and in coordination with the Smart City Living Lab, which was set up with MeitY Smart City Mission and Government of Telangana. And once the Smart City Living Lab was set up, and we have collaborated, our corporate partners is Silicon Labs, and with their support and technology, we are trying to conduct this Smart City Challenge. And I just want to brief, setting up the context for the webinar, what all things are there. Like in the agenda, first thing we'll be covering a Wyson technology overview. And one more thing I want to highlight to everyone is that there is a Q&A session after the end of the webinar. So please note down your questions and we can answer you. Then we have a case study, real world application case, which was done in Smart City Living Lab to get a feel on how the deployment can be done, what are the things that are done. Then the most important thing, like we would like to explain what the procedure, challenge, what is the criteria for selection. And when we mention focus area, what exactly we are trying to aim at. All those things are done in the challenge procedure explanation. Then last but not least, we'll try to understand and give a brief on the 10 finalists. What do they get? What is the hardware kit we'll be giving? And what is the software stack which would be available to experiment on these things? So these are the various things. And the last thing is the Q&A. These are the various things that would be covered in the webinar. So now like webinar takeaways, right? Why should I listen to this webinar? One thing is understand the Wyson technology from industry experts, get an understanding of a live deployments and case study Smart City Living Lab at IIIT Hyderabad, and understanding the challenge process, and most important of it is the criteria for getting shortlisted and maybe becoming the winner. And more than that, you get a networking opportunities. We see that a lot of registration happened and a lot of people are participating in this webinar. So you get networking opportunities, connect with peers, experts, and once you try to get some knowledge, you can get an opportunity to offer solutions to India's smart city mission. And I just want to say, whatever list we have given, it's not the final list. We need to understand we are welcome to novel ideas which can be implemented using Wyson network. Now, the next topic would be Wyson technology overview by Srinivas, who is from Silicon Labs. He'll be trying to explain on the Wyson technology.
So good afternoon. My name is Srinivas Dukipati. I'm a product marketing at Silicon Labs. Basically, today I'll be covering the Wyson introduction. So let me go through Silicon Labs, some introduction about Silicon Labs. Silicon Labs is a Austin, Texas-based fabless semiconductor company. We have actually IoT focused, 100% IoT focused, and we have all the wireless technologies listed out there. And we have in the mesh networking, we are number one, having number one share, and we also have other innovative wireless protocols. We have support. The latest would be Matter, for example. we are the we contributed to the matter development in CSA alliance. Like we have contributed a lot. I mean, majority of the contribution comes from Silicon Labs, and we also have a sidewalk, Amazon sidewalk, Z-Wave, Zigbee, all the proprietary protocols we support. And today's session is about Visan. And let me go over the Visan a bit. To Before that, I just want to go over what do we know all along. We have say here on x-axis data rates and on the y-axis range. If you look at on the right hand side, you see peer-to-peer, star, and mesh. So with the the symbols representing on each wireless technology, if you look at short range starting from NFC, RFID, then followed by a few tens of meters in Zigbee, Z-Wave, kind of all are around 1 megabit per second data rates. Then if you want to go higher data rates, you have Wi-Fi. And also we have, if you look at 11AH, which is a halo, is coming up in sub-gigahertz. But so all of these are primarily indoor centric wireless technologies. And that is for the home automation, building automation, things like that. But we have other segment which talks about wide area networks. And also we talk about low power wide area network. So that's where it is a field area network, meaning all the assets will be in the field, not indoors. So there the connectivity, robust connectivity, long range, and then also some of them are battery powered, so low power is very much required. So all of those have been supported by proprietary mesh protocols, star-based protocols. But Wyson is basically including both star and mesh, and also it's a standards-based, IEEE standards-based wireless technology, and this is standing out to be the most accepted wireless technology in the field. So let me introduce Wyson. Wyson stands for Wireless Smart Ubiquitous Network. Probably some of you are already aware of this, but this has been established in 2011. And there is a Wyson Alliance consisting of member companies like Silicon Labs is one of the founding members. And there are about 250 plus growing still. So the Wyson Alliance is brought up this wireless technology. And this Wyson is a open specification. Anybody can contribute new features, and then they'll go through and get it verified. And then it's, as I said, it's a field area network, and it leverages IEEE 802.15 G and E standards, and also it uses IPv6 for networking. So what that means is, just to give you a little bit background on this, 802.15.4 is earlier used for Zigbee. Again, that's a mesh network, but that's more of indoor specific. But for wide area and long distance, Wyson has included the new features. I'll go through those in the architecture, but they are like 15.4 G and E, G at the file layer and E at the MAC layer. So those are the additions to existing mesh networking standards, and they brought out. So Wyson Alliance develops and promotes a specification and manages the certification process also. And to go over, Wyson, I'm not sure you all aware that it has been widely accepted across the globe in US, Japan, and few other countries has been already established. About 95 million Wi-Fi capable devices are already deployed, and they're operating in very challenging environments and SLAs. So then the next thing is, this is again, as I said, it follows the hybrid approach where both mesh and star topology is followed, and so it's mesh in the sense when there are hundreds and thousands of nodes are ganged up in a small area, then mesh is used, and if there are any specific network devices sitting in the field which require low latency stuff, they can be connected on the star. So it's a combination of both. And Wi-Fi fan operates in sub-gigahertz spectrum across the globe. Various countries have various spectrums allocated. For India, for example, 865 to 868 megahertz band is used. And the good thing is Bureau of Indian Standards recently announced that it adopted Wi-Fi Alliance fan as a national standard for India's smart meter RF communication networks. What that means is in India, going forward, RF mesh communication networks following the Wi-Fi will benefit from all the features. So let me go quickly some key words of Wi-Fi, because this is very fundamental for everybody to know that this is a well structured wireless technology. If you look at the bottom layer, our bottommost is like leaf node or limited function node, which is basically the sensors in the field are battery powered, and they can have a connectivity to the cloud, and those are basically follow the IPv6 packets, send and receive, and then the PAN is the personal area network, where in a city, if you look at different parts of the city like PAN A, PAN B, PAN C, if you look at, each PAN is consisting of leaf nodes which are in color in green, and then the next level of routing is basically at the ones presented in the red color. Those are the street lights and buildings where the router nodes are installed, where these elephants can route the data to the cloud through the router nodes. So each router node can contain many of those sensor nodes, and the router nodes do the upward and downward packet forwarding and within the PAN, and then they are basically line powered and with battery backup. So that's how they are primarily aimed at, and they are generally fitted on the light poles, street lights, and building tops, so that they'll get the maximum coverage. And the border router is the one which basically maintains routing tables of the entire PAN, and make sure all the devices connected through the PAN are able to access the cloud. The cloud connectivity could be anything like cellular or fiber net or Ethernet. Any of those backhaul connectivity can be possible with the border routers. So these border routers showed as for each PAN one there. So generally, a few thousands of router nodes can be possible within a border router, and then that's how the like depending on the bandwidth requirements, one has to plan the number of nodes. So I'm spending a lot of time on these couple of slides, and that's the main reason is you should appreciate Wi-Fi ecosystem, such a robust wireless network for wide area network or field area network PAN, with a lot of thought into different types of network assets sitting in the field can follow whether it's a fan, LFN or a router node, and again border routers are planned according to the number of PAN router nodes. And router nodes are primarily, they can be in the mesh. So basically they can reach the border router depending on where they are, how far they are from the border router. So the path can be established with the mesh, I'll also go through more salient features of the Bison in the next slide. Again, Bison, let me go through LPWAN, that is low power wide area network. It's a standards based LPWAN technology. And earlier we had a proprietary mesh topologies available in the market. But with the Bison being the standards based, it has good interoperability, and also having a self-forming, self-healing mesh topology. That means if new devices can easily be added without disturbing the existing network. Similarly, if device fails or the path fails, they can it can it can heal, network can heal and reconnect to the working state. So similarly, Bison Alliance has a lot of security features built in for the mission critical network assets being in the network, trying to communicate to cloud. That's where the main feature of cyber security threats are addressed in the Bison architecture. I'll go through some of it. And also I missed one point, that it has multiple modulation schemes like FSK and OFDM. And depending on the type of data traffic required for a asset, they dynamically can coexist and dynamically can change the data rates. That's a fundamental feature of Bison technology. So this slide is basically the value propositions. Once again, we recap scalability. Thousands of nodes can be part of the Bison mesh, and more nodes can be easily added with additional border routers, and they all can be viewed as one network. And also self-healing, self-forming, I already discussed. And also configuration of multiple types of assets with different modulation, different modes of speeds basically can coexist. And also interoperable. Many like multi-vendor product can participate in the network and seamlessly work. So it's not like a proprietary where there is only one source of device can be there. So I'll just spend a few minutes here. Bison stack architecture. This is available in our Silicon Labs website. All of these slides, some of these slides on the architecture and the software side, but I just want to more put an emphasis here on MAC layer, where there is a newly added frequency hopping and the CSMA/CA, and then at the file layer, the different modulation schemes and data rates for the different regions of the globe. So these are the fundamental additions to the architecture, and then they have added also 6-LoWPAN for IP connectivity, and then all operated 15.4G specific features at physical layer, and those are like primarily the different files, different region rates, data rates and stuff are added there. And also at the link MAC layer, there is a frequency hopping at different frequencies. The data can be pumped at the same time to achieve the longer distance and the bandwidth, and then it follows CSMA/CA protocol, and then 6-LoWPAN is added for the networking. Basically, they have also made very robust IPv6 and various protocols, like RPL, all trickle, all those are added at the network layer. And then at the transport layer, UDP is a mandatory requirement for the Bison, and TCP support is also there. So this is in broad the Bison stack architecture, but there is a lot of information in Silicon Labs website. You can go through and see what granular anything that you want to see. more information. And you see here all that purple color, whatever is listed here, all supported by Wyzen stack, provided by Silicon Labs. And the only customer application is the one the customer has to develop. So that way, we are first in the market to do the FAN 1.1 support for Wyzen. So then let me go through Simplicity Studio 5 is the developer platform from Silicon Labs, where the Wyzen is being thoroughly supported with all the drivers. SDK has various features. You can see the tools, graphic tools. You can form the network using a graphic tool, and also energy profiling, network analyzers. All that is part of the Simplicity Studio 5. And then we have a reference platform to anybody to build and test their applications. So we have a bunch of pro kits involved in this, and it has all the hardware solution is basically is shown here. But if you look at the border router reference, Linux host and data coprocessor is the main thing, where the MAC layer is split into two parts. One is running on the like RCP, that is our FG series of silicon, and the other part, the networking part, is run on the Linux host, and then it can be any Linux host you can select, and all the high intensive applications, all the network connectivities, everything is possible with the architecture on the Linux host. So basically, software architecture diagram showing that again we support in the Wyzen stack all of these modules except the customer application, which will also have examples to help customer to deliver their product needs. So then I go through the Wyzen fan use cases here. This is basically showing you different use cases in the bottom, like advanced metering infrastructure, SCADA, EV charging, outdoor lighting, traffic management, parking stuff, agriculture, like livestock monitoring. All that monitoring and control can be possible through Wyzen mesh network. And then the middle one is showing the Wyzen router network, how it is meshed. And then the top ones are those border routers which are connecting to the cloud. So let me go through this. This is just a IoT analytic page I borrowed, where it shows that globally smart electric meter adoption is started long ago, but in 2024 it almost it's very predominant in US. All the circle ones are, of course, they're primarily wireless mesh, and some of it is proprietary and some of it is Wyzen. Even in India, if you look at smart electricity meters are getting connected with RF mesh, and recently the Wyzen has been picked up in other countries also. So Wyzen is evolving, and it's a great wireless technology for mesh networking, where thousands of nodes are to be deployed in the field. So this is just FAN 1.0 is the first initial field area network specification from Wyzen Alliance, and then that has only some of the support, like there was no support for leaf nodes or battery powered nodes earlier, and the first three diagrams are showing various combinations, backward compatibility between FAN 1.1 to 1.0, but the fourth one is the one where it shows that we need LFNs to communicate to the cloud. We need all of those router nodes and border router to be FAN 1.1 supported. So that's coexistence diagrams are discussed here. So I just want to quickly go through some of the deployment examples worldwide, Wyzen deployments. Most of these are either street lighting or electric meters. If you look at City of London has all the olden days lights have been replaced with LED lights, and then they have the automation street lighting now, smart street lighting they have adopted using Wi-Fi mesh network. And similarly, Dubai country has millions of electric nodes and electric meters, and then various distribution substations. All of them already connected or getting connected to the Wi-Fi mesh. And also there is a next phase of connectivity being electric vehicle chargers, parking sensors, and various other municipal utility networks are being part of the Dubai's Wi-Fi network. And similarly, in US, I only showed few here, but there are street lighting and smart energy meters are being deployed in millions already. And even in Japan, it has been well accepted, and the Wi-Fi being utilized. So one last my slide of Wi-Fi introduction is basically showing some more case studies. Not only US, Europe, and some of the European countries also having Wi-Fi deployments. Basically, some of them are street lights modernizing with the Wi-Fi being the network, and then also some of them are smart energy meters. So once the smart energy meters have been once they are established connectivity with Wi-Fi network, the same network can be utilized for other utility networks like gas and water. They can be part of the same network. So where these gas and water can be connected with battery powered sensors, and those can be part of the Wi-Fi network. So that's next gen, or I would say the follow on utility that going to be part of the Wi-Fi networking. So the Wi-Fi has been in India picking up, and we are here to promote the Wi-Fi in the campus. We already have the test bed running. So the challenge is about more and more applications can be tried out using this test bed. So with that, I conclude my introduction to Wi-Fi. And any questions at this time, or probably we can go through at the end also. But if you have any specific questions about Wi-Fi, I can answer right now. So IPv6 is backward compatible, but it's more of IPv6 having the security levels incorporated for the assets to be fully secured. That part I haven't discussed, but security is the highest level in any wireless mesh or star topology so far established in the market. So it has 802.1i and other security features are part of it. So rest of the questions we can keep it till the end of the session, and we can answer at that time.
So Srinivas has given a quite informative session, and he tried to cover what Wi-Fi technology, how it can be done, what is the stack involved, and what are the live use cases deployed in other countries of the world. And it was quite informative. So with their association in IIIT, we try to do some whole campus with Wi-Fi backhaul network. And we have a smart city living lab. I thought before going deep diving into what was implemented in Bison, I'll just cover few slides on what the smart city living lab, and then try to say how we worked in association with and still working with association with Silicon Labs, so that you'll get an idea and a feel of how to use the Bison. So, about myself, I'm Anuradha. I'm the lead architect at IIIT Hyderabad. I come from a background where I worked with defense, aerospace, and multiple solutions like electronic warfare. now I am trying to look at the smart city application, trying to understand the common man need, and through IoT, how we can achieve better living standard to the people around. So with that, I'll try to give a brief on the Smart City Living Lab. And we can just claim that. And India's first Wi-Fi network deployment, we had the privilege to do it at IIIT-H campus. So we have like various faculty associated in the Smart City Living Lab, like Sachin, Aftab, Karthik, Deepak, Ramesh, Prakash, because we try to understand in a smart city application, it is like we need different fields. It's not only hardware, software, AI, and whatever you call is there in smart city solution. So with this in mind, what we thought is we take a campus. We took the IIIT 66-acre campus and we thought there are a lot of problems around, like as you are aware, Government of India said 100 smart cities 5 years ago. And there were some issues and some problems, practicality found. Then we thought, why don't we try to experiment and make a mini micro smart city within the campus of IIIT? It is always good to practically experience before commenting on any other implementation. Taking this into account, we took the whole campus and we tried to deploy various sensors in the field of water quality, water flow, solar energy, conventional energy, smart spaces, air quality. I think whoever is from Delhi, they know the value of air quality, and weather and crowds. The experience through COVID has taught us how crowd is important to us. So then we deployed a lot of hardware. And then we realize the next layer would be the communication layer. So you have all the sensors. And like, how do you take the sensor data? If it is at the IIIT campus, then it's of no use. So we try to establish a communication layer. Initially, we started with Wi-Fi, 4G, then eSIM. Then what we realized is when we want to have end-to-end seamless connectivity, there are some other networks which need to be there. So one of them is LoRaWAN and the other Bison, where LoRaWAN is a star network, while Bison is a mesh network and a self-healing network. And we realize when you have this RF mesh around, the IoT data can travel without any interruption. Because when you talk about Bison, it is like a self-healing network. If one node is not available to connect, it can immediately piggyback to the next available node. That is the advantage Bison has. And now we are trying to work with the 5G use cases also. Then we realize once we have the communication, what is the next thing? How do we store the data? So 1M, 2M, which is considered as a European standard earlier, now it is like India is also adapting as a IoT standard for interoperable layer for storing the data in a proper way so that you can subscribe or notify according to the change in the data. So we try to implement the 1M, 2M layer, and then we realize we need some archival of data. And one thing is what I always say in every presentation, when we want to solve a problem in particular area, we need a data set for that area to get it trained. Because I don't think European data set may work in India, or even Gachibowli data set, high-tech city data set will work in the old city data set. So data sets are critically required in India. So we have this data lake, data warehouse where we archive the data. Then the next layer was data exchange layer. The thing is like, let us say I have my data, IIIT has data, one more city has data. But how will someone know where the exactly data is? So we interface with IIC Bangalore for the Indian Urban Data Exchange, where like lot of cities connect their data to their data exchange and we are part of their catalog. Any person visits India and they're looking for data in India in various cities, they can access through the IUDX website. And with that, whatever I say, one more layer we added is the visualization. So whatever we talk, unless we show, it doesn't prove anything. Taking it into account, we have made multiple vision layers, and this we call it as a standardized stack for any smart city solution. And these are the various nodes which you are deployed. More than 300 nodes are deployed, and you see that they are trying to connect through various networks, Wi-Fi and like LoRa, Wi-Fi, 4G, LTE. All these networks are used, and various domains are validated. When you look at it, this is a standard info model which we are trying to show. Basically, the data flows from the nodes, and then through the subscription, it goes from 1M to M, it goes to the data warehouse, then to Alexa, IUDX, and dashboard. We have the various visualizations available: summary, building view, or 3D view, whatever view. It is like one more thing, what we believe is visualization should be more appealing and reaching to more people. People should be able to understand what exactly we are trying to convey. If it is useful for people, then the visualization is right. So we experimented with various visualization which was developed in house, and we also have the analytics where we can compare multiple nodes and understand how the variation is happening. Then consider this, what we realize is we have a lot of standard layers. But if I go to each one and say, why don't you use this layer? Why don't you use this 1M, 2M? Why don't you use a standard data model? Why don't you use this format? So it would be very difficult to adapt. So what we realized is, why don't we create a city IoT operation platform? So I give it as a single piece, and people need not worry what type of node, what type of data, what type of standard they need to follow. They can just integrate to the city IoT operating platform, and we will take care of the standards. And we also work on the digital twin. Once these smart city solutions or network solutions are deployed, it would be difficult to handle or operate by going manually to each location. So always we feel digital twin is one of the upcoming solution where we can use these things. So this is a sample digital twin for water quality. And with this in place, we thought, okay, now we have a live test bed. What do we do with it? So we connect to startups, government, smart cities solutions, smart city advisors, so that we can use it as a single platform to connect, discover, and provide solutions. So, in this context, the government said that, okay, we are supporting you, we are funding you. Now, the thing is, we need to have corporate partnership involved. Whenever corporates are involved, there is a possibility that the solutions can take to a scalable level. In this context, we have corporate partnership with Silicon Labs, and it has been started in December 2021, and it's really successfully running till now, and we are continuing in a positive mode. Intel and Saint Gobain. And to give a just a overview, Bison, we had multiple deployments. Even their senior vice president, their CTO flew in for the launch. And now we can proudly say that the whole campus is wired by Bison. And we have the backbone Bison network where now we are trying to connect to the various utility nodes. So I think Srinivas has already briefed what is Bison architecture. Why I was trying to put it here is we try to similar architecture, we followed the guidelines, and we tried to deploy router nodes, border router, and we interconnected, and we created the 1M, 2M server to do the data handling as an interoperable layer. And we were able to make the whole network operational. This is the 1M, 2M architecture, just to give a brief how it is interfaced. Like we have the Bison node here, and it is connected to the 1M, 2M, and then it is going to the data storage layer and data exchange. So any type of node can be connected to the 1M, 2M layer. We have different versions of FAN 1.0, 1.1, different layers. What I want to bring it here is, like, we were working along with Silicon Labs on the technology developments. We were parallelly, when they released the FAN 1.0, we tried to deploy and understand their feasibility. So similarly, we were trying to work hand in hand for all the versions, because I always say, like, Rome was not built in a day. So there are a lot of milestones involved to achieve what we have done so far in the last 3 years. So there were like multiple phases. Phase one, where we had streetlights connected, and we had FAN 1.0, and we had the network for the 30 nodes, and we have had a minimum dashboard, which is the first preliminary dashboard which we were able to deploy. And phase two, we try to add FAN 1.1 nodes, and we are developed a different, like almost more than 60 nodes were deployed. And we were trying to control 106 lights with all the nodes together. And the dashboard structure improved, and we had a smart street lamp post, and we also had the hardware dashboard where it was giving the status of the street lights or the nodes deployed. One advantage is like a bison node, it can act as a router node, or it can act as a IoT node with the routing feature. And so we thought in the phase 3 deployment, we now where these leaf nodes are used, I think to just brush it up, as Srinivas said, leaf nodes are like it can just deploy, put the status or notify. So we can use the utility networks. I always say, like, we have a lot of street lights in India. If you have the Wi-Fi network everywhere, any utility node close by can just piggyback their data, and it finally can reach the border router and then try to post to the cloud. So we try to interface 5 LFN nodes, and we were even experimented with a couple of utility nodes, because we thought when we are running this challenge, always I believe that we should experiment first before asking someone to do something. So we have experimented with water, luminosity sensors, and we try to implement the LFN nodes. So all together, we have almost like 95 nodes deployed within the campus. And we also try to add some features like why don't we use EV charging through the Wi-Fi protocol, which we implemented and we were successfully able to demonstrate. And one thing we always wanted to say is, for smart city solution or any solution where you want a interconnectivity really good, seamless connection, then you should always go for a hybrid low power wide area network architecture. What I call is it should be combined with Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi, all those things, because finally when you're going to the cloud, you need the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi for all the IoT data, you don't need Wi-Fi bandwidth for IoT data. And we need a strong interconnectivity. There are some nodes deployed in the tanks, some nodes deployed in somewhere below the ground level. So for that, we need to have the RF mesh network that really required for any implementation. And just to show on the highlights, I'll play a video which is like a small video to show the live deployment. Just for a minute, you can just see how the Bison deployment happened. You can see that all the streetlights are controlled by the Bison network. And this is a smart lamppost where you have the display to know the overall situation in the lab, in the campus, and we have some sensors. We have the speaker, camera, which can notify for any emergency. And this light is again controlled by Bison. And this shows the 1M, 2M deployment, how the nodes are deployed. And you can see the street light controlled by the Bison node, which tries to control automatically through app or through the dashboard. You can control the light on and off. The process is how to get to 1M, 2M, and from there, Bison border router and how it is transmitted to the cloud is demonstrated here. So these are the various nodes, and this tries to show you the deployment, because what I always believe is it's not only a presentation, it is like what we did should be actually presented to understand the thing. Just a second. So I know that now everyone is really eager. You understood what the brief about voice and deployment, what are the things, but everyone is eager to understand what exactly challenge process. Can I participate? Am I eligible? What are the things I should be able to present? because it's an interesting challenge to highlight to everyone, saying that why Silicon Labs has really accepted, and we together with Silicon Lab is conducting this challenge, and we are happy with the overwhelming response. But what we are looking for is some interesting solution where it can benefit lot of people, and with a minimum technology properly used, being smart way of using the technology. So I try to give a briefly what are the steps involved for everyone understanding. So the thing is, challenge takeaways. One thing is like we started circulating the application since a month. Almost 15 days have passed. So we are giving 4 weeks time for people to apply, and be clear when you are applying. Like now, next Venkatesh will also be saying what all things should be considered in the proposal. Be check. If you already submitted, also you can resubmit the challenge, resubmit the form, try to cover the topics mentioned by Venkatesh. And the thing is, out of this, all these applications, we try to shortlist 10 participants. And then for them, we conduct a workshop and give them a custom Bison kit. And they get a cash prize of 25K too. So once they have the custom Bison kit, that 1 day workshop will try to give more details on Bison implementation and try to do some hands-on experiments so that people will feel more comfortable. After that, almost 8 weeks time is given to the all the 10 participants, 10 teams. Each team can contain I think 2 people. The team expected to contain only 2 people, and we will be giving this Bison kits, and they can come up with a proper solution. And the solution we are looking is like it should be a POC at Smart City Living Lab, because we have the backhaul network. So we need to do the POC at the Smart City Living Lab, and based on the need, we may conduct twice, once in 2 weeks or once in a week, a session, 2 hour session or 1 hour session based on the need to answer any questions. And there is a community forum where you can post your question, which Venkatesh will be giving in detail. And one thing is, the total cash prize is 8 lakhs. It's a real cash prize of 8 lakhs. And one thing for sure is it will be given to the best solution, best and good solution. It's not a comparable solution. It should be a solution which can be used. And with this challenge, you'll be able to connect to people and gain some recognition. And it's like showcasing to big giants like Silicon Labs and other companies. And one thing, this can be, there would be a chance to take it to the smart cities, India's smart city mission. And I think challenge details, benefits, eligible parents. It is like Indian or non-Indian also is fine. I think its only thing is for Indian solutions. We are looking for solutions relevant. It need not be smart city solutions. It can be like using the network effectively, data security, data privacy. If you can attempt with the network, it would be also a good idea. And relevant areas are identified, which are given here. And the key dates is, don't forget these dates. Last day to apply is July 3rd, workshop on July 29th. So please see the web page for any updates. If there is a change in the workshop date or anything, there would be announcement given there. And shortlist announcement would be done by July 15th. And what we suggest is, once you have the POC ready, we are giving September 2nd to 10th for 10 teams. Each team can plan on 1 day, and so that we can do some hands on hand with them, and then try to help them whatever we can, because we should be fair with all the participants. And we have the grand finale that is on September 20th, which is an interesting thing, where all the key people from Silicon Labs will be visiting Smart City Living Lab, and there would be the award ceremony. So it is really a memorable thing and a useful thing. And I invite all the startups, individuals, or students who want to be part of the real thing, be part of it. Still, I think you have 15 days more. Think about a nice application, try to do. try to plan the idea. Whatever you present in the proposal will be the criteria for selection. And registration links. And one more thing, you can check in the Smart City Living Lab website. You will find challenges, and there you can directly go to the link, or whatever link was shared in the poster can be used. And again, the same thing, invitation, stage 2, 1 day or workshop with training and support, and stage 3 is the grand finale. And we are really looking forward for the various things, interesting things you'll be proposing. And for you to understand what are the criteria for selection, what are the themes, what is the idea behind the challenge themes selected, we invite Mr. Venkatesh from Silicon Labs to just speak his few words about it. Thank you.
Well, yeah, so thanks again for joining this webinar. So eventually, whatever you have done, you will have to submit. We are trying to look at what can be productized, what can be a real solution in the real world. And there are a few guidelines for submitting this. Okay, so I'm Venkatesh. I'm in Silicon Labs with a lot of experience in electronics and IoT. And again, like I say, we are ready to help you in getting a good solution out. So it's not a competition where we are just going to be the judges. We are going to work with you. We're going to help you do this. All right, so although we're calling it a smart city challenge, it actually goes beyond smart cities. You can actually see the themes that have been listed there. Uh, so the thing is that we can be either a complete solution or it can be a specific innovation or specific advancement within a solution. Okay, for example, we're talking about smart energy solutions. You can actually create a smart energy solution about how you can monitor the usage of electricity and then create a way in which it can be minimized. Or it can be something like communicating the state of a particular machine or a particular machinery so that better decisions can be taken. So it can be broad or it can be narrow. We are also talking about utility, I mean, smart ways of reading the water consumption, smart gas metering. These can be done. Smart agriculture, this has a whole lot of possibilities. It can be for a single crop. It can be a lot of different things. It's up to your imagination. Edge intelligence, our chips that you're going to use have a hardware, a machine learning processor there. So you can do a lot of edge intelligence. What does that mean? Okay, so let's say that you're creating a traffic camera and then you are connecting it up and connecting all the traffic cameras and then you're creating a better way to know guide traffic. It's a complete solution. You can propose that. You can show some way of prototyping that. You can also have within that camera a automatic recognition of accidents. Using our ML hardware, you can actually process video frames and determine that something has happened which is unusual. And you can raise an alarm automatically without having somebody to go and find out what it is and doing something. So that is an edge intelligence application. You can actually show how you are going to detect that somebody in the street has fallen down, somebody in the street has slipped, or water is leaking from a pipe, or drainage is leaking, or there has been an accident. All of this can be done through visual intelligence. Even that can also be a part of innovative solution that you're giving. And then you can you can have your own concerns about network security, how to make it less hackable. You can look at ideas about how to increase battery life, how you can have clean energy. Like for example, if you have a chemical plant, can you detect very quickly that there is a leak of hazardous gases? Then can you think of a solution in which you can tell everybody around to move out? Can you tell authorities who were there in that particular area where the hazardous gas was leaked? So all of these are real world problems. All of these can have innovative solutions which you can think about. And then we have mobility and transport, predictive maintenance. Okay, how quickly or how often you need to maintain vehicles, public utility vehicles, transportation vehicles, whatever it is, machinery. So we cover a broad area. We can go for a broad solution. We can go for a narrow innovation within a solution. But everything should be in the context of a system that is outdoors and uses a Wi-Fi link for connectivity. Okay, so within that context, the innovation can be anything that you want to talk about. All right. So when you want to submit, remember that, okay, just an idea is not enough. The idea can be very novel, but the idea should have certain, attributes to it. It should either solve a problem that does not have an efficient solution today, or it can make a existing process or system more efficient. Like, for example, the fast tag which you use in highways. Earlier, okay, people had to pay, stop and pay. Now you stop, but only for a second or so. The fast tag is an improvement in the efficiency. There is still more to go. Why should you stop at all? Can you have a technology that you can run at 80 kilometers an hour through a toll gate? So the solution may not be fully efficient, but more efficient than what it was earlier. You can also make a technology more accessible to use. A lot of technology is actually inaccessible to people who actually have a fear. They are not engineers. They are not people who have studied, postgraduate degrees. So how can you bring technology to the common man that uh, can also be a part of what you're doing? Or you can use, or your idea can be on reducing the cost of a system, something that makes it more attractive, makes it more easy for people to adopt and more likely that they will adopt it. Now that you have an idea, that you have described what you want to do, okay, and we want to submit it. So your description of your idea should be, what does it do? How is it different? How is it innovative? And how can we measure the benefits? So what is it that you can measure, right? So yeah, when a solution is deployed or an idea is implemented, uh, the fact that it is doing something good should be measurable. You should mention that. Okay, and then you have to talk about how you are going to implement the product, the project. So think of it as a product than a project. What it means is that who is the customer? When you do this, who's going to buy it? Who's going to install it? Who's going to benefit from it? What is the value of the idea or the solution to the customer? Everything should have a value, right? If it has value, people will pay for it. It's useful to them. What is the potential market size? Can you deploy it in the millions, or in the whole world there are only two people who might like to use that solution? So identify the potential market size by looking at who your customer is and how prevalent that customer is, and what's the cost of deployment. It's whatever solution we have should have a return on investment. What you spend to deploy it should be coming back to you in more than that. So look at the cost of deployment. Look at the business model. Are you going to sell a hardware product? Are you going to sell software? Is it going to be a software subscription? Or are you going to provide a monthly service? All of them are valid business models. You think about what it is. And your plan of implementation. What are you going to use? What hardware components you're going to use? What software components are you going to use? How are you going to roll it out? How are you going to deploy it in different places? What's the cost of deployment? The product may have a cost, the deployment may have a different cost. And what else can we do with it? What's the future scope? What else can be done using this as a starting point? Okay, so all of these, okay, are what you can think about and try to describe as nicely as possible, because we are going to shortlist submissions, and out of all the submissions we are going to select only 10. So make sure that yours is a compelling case, and reach out to us for anything else. And all the questions that have been asked, okay, yes, we will come back and answer it very shortly. But right now we will describe a little bit more about what actually is the hardware and software that we are giving you for you to build your solution. So we'll have Srinivas again here.
Hello, once again. Hello? Yeah. So, Wyson hardware kit that we'll be giving to the finalists, 10 teams. That's basically what we discussed now. This has been developed by Vaibhav at IIIT Hyderabad. And let me go through the so this is generally how he has been testing the deployment of backbone network in the campus so far with the border router nodes and elephants. But actual the board which we are going to use for the challenge is displayed here. So there are three different components here. One is the Explorer kit, which is from the Silicon Labs development board, which is a standalone board, which has USB powering the board, and also there is a battery input pins on this board. So when you connect the laptop with this Explorer kit on USB connector, then the board will be powered up. Battery won't be used, but battery can be installed on this Explorer kit. For that, we have the custom baseboard where we have the socket for battery. I think 3000 mAh battery we are using 3.7 volts is placed on the custom board. And this Explorer kit, if you want to download your stack, Bison stack, and the application code into the wireless SoC, which is FG28, which is marked as EFR32ZG28 SoC. So that's one way. And also, this once you disconnect the USB, the C-type USB cable, then the battery power will be feeding the board. So then it will become a standalone. So we are limiting the hardware to try out only LFN applications here, battery powered sensor nodes in the field. We don't want to give the development of entire Bison, because that is more of various other boards involved. So we have already backbone established in the campus. So we are trying to give you only LFN, that is a leaf node configuration here. And if you look at the custom board, this Explorer kit will sit on top of the custom board, and then it has the battery power. And also there is a quick connector from the Explorer kit is connected to the custom board, baseboard, and then it has a SparkFun multi-port I2C connector placed on the board, so that one of the four will be connected to the Explorer kit, and the remaining three are given to you for interfacing various sensors externally, and they're supposed to be on I2C bus. So these I2C based external sensors, you'll be procuring based on your requirements with the money that we 25K we are providing for the finalists who can develop their own sensor requirements. So other than that, we have IP65 box where this entire hardware is sitting, and that it will be a standalone board, standalone device. And then on the software front, so we have basically Silicon Labs website. If you go, you can download Simplicity Studio 5 and on your laptop, and then you can use example models, how to interface, how to configure. Like for example, LFN being a child, parenting will be on the router node, and the LFN node what you develop is basically a child node. So all that configuration and then application development examples and also debugging capabilities, everything is you can get from Simplicity Studio 5, which is from Silicon Labs website. So if you have any while developing your code, you can reach us for any help. We are there standby. And one important information that though hardware is limited to LFN, but application can be, your imagination. We have other than Bison LFN functionality application, we also have the, for example, AI/ML accelerator built into our wireless SoC, so that you can explore using for predictive maintenance or any of those applications. You can use AI/ML accelerator. That even we have the software, ready for that. So you can take the examples and try out. So primarily, the hardware is just limited to LFN, but the software is endless. You can think about various applications and use cases in a Bison deployment in a smart city, or any, as Venkatesh said, It need not be smart city application. It can be any other application, but the application should be limited to LFN nodes as hardware goes. So with that, this is concluding on the hardware and software kit related information that we will be providing. So there are material links here. We'll post it in our Smart City Challenge website. All of these links, as well as Silicon Labs links where the SDK can be downloaded, and the developer environment also can be downloaded. So we'll be helping you to come up with your applications during your development. Any of the questions that you come up with, and also we have a hands-on workshop, which where I think hands-on workshop is planned in July 29th. Okay, July 29th. So basically, at that time, you will have more visualization into how to work with these hardware kits and then the software development environment. So with that, I think our today's webinar session is, presentation is complete. Now we'll be doing a Q&A. So
Yeah, thank you, Srinivas. Please sit, sir. We'll be having the Q&A session in 2 minutes. We want the experts to join the session so that relevant questions can be answered. No.
So participants can also unmute themselves and ask questions right now relevant to the challenge, or if you have any technical questions on what you have learned about Bison, you can raise your hands. We have also have some questions in the chat that have been asked during the webinar, so we will take them up as well. But right now as well, you can raise your hands and ask a question if you have any.
Hello. Hello.
Please go ahead and ask. You are audible.
Yeah. What is the maximum budget for this challenge that to participate in that? Because I would like to know that. What is
So Venkatesh will take.
Yeah, I mean, the budget means, so this is actually a competition, and we are not going to reimburse the costs, except that if you submit a proposal, we evaluate it, and we are going to select the top 10, and we are going to support them with the kits, software, and 25,000 rupees for operational expenses.
do we only need to submit the idea, or do we need to submit the prototype also?
Initially, you submit only the idea. Okay. And then based on all the ideas that come in, we will choose the 10 best ideas, and we will be giving 25,000 rupees each for them, along with the kit and software and some support. And we'll ask them to come back and show us a prototype.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, let's go through some of the questions here quickly. And yeah, so let's go up and let's come down and let's see which is the first question. And IPv6 has already been answered. IPv4 has been already answered. And yeah, some of them have been answered. Let's see which has not been answered.
Does Bison also have protocol packet level self-contained authentication?
Well, actually, yeah, there is you will have to look at the Bison protocol. There is a security layer on top of that, inside it. Okay, you can the nodes. Okay, there can be innovation in terms of nodes being 100% authentic. You can even think about it. There is already something there. So when you have an IPv6 address or a MAC address, sometimes it can be cloned. If you want to go beyond that and make it completely unclonable and absolutely secure, you can think of an innovative idea and you can propose it.
Okay. So I think this question again from Arijit, maybe for Anuradha. When it comes to the data lake, do you prefer on-premises or cloud-based storage? And the reason for asking this question is that there is data sovereignty, particularly related to some countries. So if you can answer that question, please.
Yeah, totally agreed. It should be okay. If it is a cloud-based storage, it is preferable. But what we try to do is when we had our IIIT data also, we had data in our premises, but we try to give the access to others based on proper authentication and proper data security involved. So that is how we try to give the access. So you can follow a similar thing.
So a related question again from Arijit is the how do you preserve the privacy of the data?
So one thing is data privacy. There should be understanding how we use the data, and we can have a NDA if you have a critical data which you don't want to share it to anyone. We can have a NDA also if needed.
So a question from Srinivasan is what is the maximum hop count?
It's 24.
Um, Again, another question. Have you thought of using these protocols as well? The protocols are like HTTPS, MQTT, LoRaWAN, ZigBee.
So I think we are getting confused. HTTPS, maybe Aftab, you can only
Yeah, I can
answer.
myself answer that question. So if you look at LoRaWAN and ZigBee, these are communication protocols. So this is separate from packet transfer protocols like HTTPS, and these are all the way in which data is structured and sent across wireless communication. So for example, you can use HTTPS over LoRaWAN and MQTTS over LoRaWAN. So these kinds of things are there. So they're separate entities in and of themselves. And Wi-Fi, like we all learned today, is a wireless communication protocol.
Actually, Wi-Fi is a better alternative than LoRaWAN, and it's actually standardized and recommended for use in India for the smart utility networks. Okay, it has. I mean, you can do MQTT and all of this on top of whatever protocol it supports.
A question from Vivek is there any format for the proposal submission?
Yes, when you look at the submission form, we try to list out, as Venkatesh told earlier, what are the areas that need to be covered. Format in the sense content is defined. Format, anything is fine. Word, PDF, or anything is fine. Hope I answered your question.
So I think Vijayaraghavan asked about a number of questions about the time taken to reform the network and
all of those
commissioning
things.
required. Yeah, so actually, I mean, a lot of this information is available on the Silicon Labs website. Okay, so in terms of how Wi-Fi is a global standard, okay, Wi-Fi Alliance has defined it. Okay, it has talked about how the mesh is formed. Obviously, there will be redundant border routers. You cannot depend on a single point of failure. The over-the-air firmware upgrade is supported. We have done that. And Wi-Fi is being implemented in India. A lot of smart meters are using Wi-Fi now. So it's coming on. Since India only adopted it only maybe last year. Okay, it's going to take some more time before widespread deployment happens, but it is going to happen. But a lot of these questions, you will find answers to our website, in the documentation, and also in the Wi-Fi Alliance, because the Wi-Fi is a standard protocol. It's not defined by us, Silicon Labs, but we have participated in the definition of the standard.
Also, for some practical answers, I would like to point out that IIIT, in IIIT Smart City Living Lab, because we have been working with Wi-Fi for a long time now, we have written some research papers as well that have been published in some IEEE forums. So you can look up those research papers, and some of the questions that were asked about network formation and time taken and all have been actually explored in those research papers. So you can have a look at that as well.
There's a question on Simplicity Studio 5. Will we have simulation models? The studio works okay by it's like an integrated development environment, like Kyle or Cube IDE. So it's actually a embedded microcontroller development environment. So you have to connect the board to it, and then you can actually discover the board. You can discover what kind of processor it is, and therefore it will pull the right libraries for you to compile with. So it's actually a development environment.
One more thing I was saying, should any idea be covered with Wyson technology? This whole challenge is for things, ideas combined with Wyson technology. Let us be clear on that. And sorry for the people who missed earlier session. The recording will of the session will be posted in the same web page soon. Maybe in a day or two, you'll see the recording of the session also available. So don't worry. And one more thing, your idea you can share in slides, PPT or a Word, but it should convey the required topics, the hardware involved, software, idea, how do you want to implement, approximate cost, what is the plan of scaling. All those things should be included in your proposal. Better representation is required. It is open source.
Is it Simplicity
Actually,
Studio?
Simplicity Studio is developed by Silicon Labs, but it is available for download by anybody. Okay, so you can actually go. It's not open source, but it is developed. It's a proprietary solution developed by Silicon Labs, but it's available for you. You don't have to wait for us to give it to you. You can download it right away. And Suhas has a lot of questions. What kind of innovations? It's up to you actually. Okay, we don't want to restrict your thought process. Okay, whatever you can think of in smart agriculture, you can use it. Okay, and the criteria used is whatever we have spoken about. That idea should be innovative. It should have a market. It should have a customer. It should be viable. It should not cost enormously. We should understand how it's going to be deployed. We should be able to measure the benefits. So all of these, okay, are going to be used for us to measure to judge, okay, what submission is better than something else. Okay, and all material is available. You can go to Silicon Labs website. We will also populate this particular challenge website with a number of links. So keep looking at it. And you can have teams of multiple people. You can have teams across different cities. You can actually, submit more than one solution, no problem. So it's quite flexible.
One interesting question is, what are the career opportunities that students can expect if they work with with Python technology?
Okay, that's a great question. No, the important thing is that we are from the industry, right? So if you're a student, uh, the industry wants good students who can, implement solutions, students who understand systems. And by doing this, you will be in a position where you can actually explain about how you did something. Your own knowledge base and your capability will suddenly increase. You will go into the top 5% of the students who can actually implement solutions. The chances of employability will be enormously higher. Okay, and I can tell you from my experience and all my interaction with others is that there is a dearth of people who can really implement solutions. So by taking this up and doing something, you're putting yourself right up there in the front of the hiring line.
So I would like to answer, why was Wyson technology introduced at IIIT-H in India and not at other locations? So the thing is, the association was Silicon Labs. They are corporate partners for the Smart City Living Lab project, and actually they deployed UK, Europe, everywhere. And when they saw our implementation, which is a live test bed, they thought they can experiment their Bison technology here so that they can find out how it can be scalable to the cities. Because, as I said, it is a mini micro smart city of India. So that is how it happened.
And you should know that the government of India for smart solutions in every area is a priority. So there are lots of projects and funding possibilities from the government which you can utilize once you've gotten some hands on this. Yeah, it's not. It's actually FSK or OFDM. So all about how much is the bandwidth, what is the frequency, everything is available. Okay, in our documentation, you can look at that. Yeah, so multiple teams. You can submit multiple applications. An optimum team size, I don't know, but maybe 3 people. Okay, so that's how people can actually focus on different things. Somebody can look at the market. Somebody can look at software. Somebody can look at hardware. And you can merge technologies with everything else. Can Wyson technology be merged up in our ideas before proposal or selection of 10 teams? No, you have to talk about how Wyson fits into your entire submission. Right? Like I gave an example of automatic accident detection. You'll have to say that there is a Wyson network which carries the decisions taken So there has to be a context using Vyson, and then okay, you can talk about your innovation.
So the question on how many maximum number of ideas can be shared by a person, I would suggest, like we are saying, there is no limit, but typically from a personal note, I would like to suggest that if you focus on one idea, it will be better, because like Venkatesh pointed out, we are expecting your proposals to be complete in the form of technology, and hardware software stack, from business model point of view, from cost point of view, how it impacts the society. So a lot of things are to be looked at when you are submitting one single proposal. So if you are diverting your attention to more than one or two proposals, I think it'll probably stretch you a little bit. So it'll be ideal if you all focus on one proposal as a team. That will be great.
And all the documents, once again, the same web page link, Smart City Challenge 04. Can someone share the link in the chat? So, web page details. So, you can just look into the web page where Smart City Living Lab Challenge web page, where we created about the webinar and the challenge details. There we will be uploading all the links or the supported links also. So he'll be sharing that link once again. Yeah.
And there's a question on, are the products going to be commercialized? No, we are not going to commercialize it, but if it's really good and it really wins the challenge, we can put you up with a manufacturing partner who can take it forward. You believe me, if you have a great solution, there are lots of folks out there who are willing to work with you, take the technology and deploy it. So the possibilities are definitely there. But Silicon Labs sells only modules and chips. It does not sell complete solutions. So we will not productize it, but there will be others. Afwan is a school student. Yes, absolutely. No restriction. Okay, if you can do an IoT project, okay, and if you have a good imagination, yes, you can submit it. Like I said, there'll be other companies ready to commercialize your winning products. And of course, all the entries are only with Silicon Labs and IIIT. We will not be sharing details of your submission with anybody else. So your ideas are safe with us, and feel free to submit. All right, anything else?
Anything else? Anyone? Did we miss? If
Yeah, you can
raise
unmute
your-
as well, and raise your hands or unmute and ask a question. Or of course, we are still looking at the chat as well. So if somebody is interested, they can type out their question as well.
So I understand that we are done with the questions, and feel free to maybe in the group or like to the Smart City team, you can just ask your questions anytime and we'll definitely respond.
So any further queries can be.
No, nobody else. Yeah, and also now, I mean, if you go to Silicon Labs, okay, I mean, there is also a support community. Got community.scilabs.com, and if you have any questions, you can even type out your questions there. Community.scilabs.com, and maybe somebody will answer it. We will soon be creating a separate channel within it for the challenge. But right now, you can select Vyson as a product, and you can type in any question, or you also have the links from IIIT. So even before submitting, if you have questions, I mean, as long as it's not overwhelming for us to answer questions, we will do our best to answer the questions.
And taking that you have no more questions, I would like to introduce once again Professor Aftab, who has been working, who is a faculty at IIIT and who has been working with the Bison technology from the beginning to share his concluding remarks.
Yeah, thank you, Anuradha. Yeah, so it was a fantastic webinar. I'm sure all of you learned a lot through this. Our main motivation behind this webinar, as well as the entire challenge, is to make sure that we keep the students and the budding industries of India, abreast with the latest technology developments that are happening in the world. And Vysen is one of those very interesting technologies that is coming up in the IoT space. So we definitely want to spread that word, spread that message. We want you guys to participate in the challenge as an opportunity to learn about a new technology.
Because if you when you participate in the challenge, you send out a proposal, like we have been discussing. You will have to think about it from all aspects. The use of the technology itself, of course, the from a technical point of view, it has to be strong, but also strong from what impact it's going to create in the society, or how who is going to be using it, or why people are going to be using it. When you answer these kinds of questions, you will realize that there is a lot of depth into the engineering that goes around IoT devices. So we are absolutely looking forward to all the proposal submissions that we are going to get, to see some very unique and wonderful ideas come out of it. And of course, once shortlisted, we are very happy to again support you guys with whatever hardware kits we have, whatever questions you have on software and implementation, and take it forward all the way up to the finale. So thank you all for joining the webinar. Over to Anurag.
Yeah, thank you. See Mahesh trying to asking some suggestions. One thing I would advise is first, please go through the material provided, because I want to introduce our some of the team, Vaibhav and Usha, who were the just budding engineers from one of the colleges, and they were able to develop and make the whole campus Bison deployment. So it's only the thought and the idea which should trigger, and lot of material. Like when you see the Silicon Labs website, they have lot of support, technical support, everything is available. Bison stack is not sub. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So the thing is, please think about it, go through the material, and definitely you'll get some idea how to develop. And to be fair enough for all the participants, whatever weekly sessions or once in 2 weeks, it would be a common session for everybody. So I see. So with that note, and once again from our team, I really apologize for the inconvenience caused about the link, but it's always sometimes for good things, some hiccups definitely happen. So thank you all, and just look forward to your exciting ideas, and don't forget applying for the challenge if you feel you're one of them. So all the best. Thank you. Thank you, Silicon Labs team too.